I have a proposed amendment in relation to the communications legislation amendment, Prominence and Anti-siphoning bill. And I can assure you, like many other things in this place, this bill can be improved with a bit of thought about the best interest for Australians rather than the best interest in big business. Just for once this morning, that'd be delightful to go on the winter break with. My amendment will seek to strengthen the Prominence and Anti-siphoning framework to help Australians easily access free-to-air television programs and sporting events. Seriously, it's a no-brainer because Australians deserve to see what is free and to be able to see the sport and the teams that they love without having to sign up to a streaming service. The government will not be supporting these changes, and I can tell you, neither will this side, the blue team. They've already done the deal together. They don't care. They don't care that you're going to pay more. They don't care about your kids and sporting heroes that stand in front of them. The average household, Aussie household, already pays approximately, spends around $50 a month on streaming services. I imagine that will get less because things are extremely tight out there. And your government over there, promising to lower the cost everywhere it can right across the board. You're not doing a very good job of that. There's a lot of talk and no action. And you should be doing everything that you can to lower streaming prices in the cost of living for people around this country, rather than encouraging households to fork out money to watch sport and other programs for your own benefits because you're too scared to take on the Murdochs. And that's the truth of it, both of you. Both of you want to take on Murdoch, God forbid. They might put something terrible and put you on the front page of The Australian. Most people don't give a stuff about The Australian. I'll be honest with you. They couldn't care less. Most people don't read the rubbish. Okay, most people don't read my newspapers across Australia anymore. They just don't care. They're more interested in the Kardashians than what they are in Murdoch. Under the current bill, the prominence rules will make it easier to find news, sport and Aussie shows on smart TVs. But get this, Australians, it's a great day for you today. It will only apply to people who have enough money to buy a brand new TV. That's right. That's right. Doing it tough already, but mate, race out and get a brand new TV. I'm sure that'd be great for the inflation rate, eh? These changes completely ignore the fact that just one, you might want to do your homework, 1 in 10 households have changed their TV in the last 6 months. There's no money. Normal people out there don't have spare cash. And you don't want them spending anyway, remember? Because that's why it drives up interest rates. And you call yourselves great economists over here. Blow me over. My amendment will mean that the prominence rules apply to existing television devices rather than just new devices. This means when you switch on a smart TV, Australians, the home screen will include free-to-air application icons alongside paid streaming services. My amendment will make sure that free-to-air televisions will be easily accessible on TVs, which will benefit many Australians who cannot afford to buy a new smart TV. You're struggling to put milk and bread on the table to feed your kids, and they want you to go and buy a new smart TV. How disconnected are they from what is really going out on the ground in society out there around our great nation? My amendment also extends search functions on smart televisions so that Australians can easily find what they are looking for. So they can find more easily what is free to watch on TV. It's pretty simple. Although the bill doesn't stop streamers like Amazon, Apple and Disney from buying exclusive broadcast rights, it doesn't put the same protections on broadcast through the internet. My amendment means that the free broadcast and free digital streaming rights must be acquired by a free-to-air broadcaster before that event can be bought by a subscription provider. Watching free sport on TV is part of the Australian way of life. Why have we possibly got to it, to where we are today, that you are now going to start paying to watch Australian sport on TV? How we possibly got to this. If my amendment doesn't pass, I want to tell you what's going on in America. I want to make this very clear to when it comes to paying for services. The Guardian recently reported if American NFL fans want to watch every game, they must pay $1,600 a year for that privilege. That's what they're paying for the privilege of NFL in America now. That's what they're paying. Australians, wake up. So if you think you're not going to pay for your AFL, if you think it's great to spend family time sitting with your kids in the lounge room on a Saturday afternoon, spending time with them and watching the good old footy without paying for it, those days are over. Those days are over. All those young kids out there that love those Matildas, your mum and dad are going to pay for them. They're going to pay to watch them. How is this supposed to inspire our kids to stay off drugs and alcohol, to become great citizens, instead of going into youth crime when they've got no idols that they can no longer watch on TV for free? And you talk big on youth crime, which, by the way, you've done nothing about in 2 years you've been here. Not a damn thing. Not a thing. You should be ashamed of yourselves. And now you're going to take those idols off our kids, which just may encourage them to stay on the right side of life. You're going to make them pay for them. How is this helpful? And for what? So you don't end up on the front of the papers being named and shamed. I don't know if you guys noticed, but it happens every day to you. It's already happening. Okay, it's already happening. If they were making such a big difference to voters in this country, Clive Palmer would have brought up newspapers years ago. Wake up to it. God forbid. No idea. I want to guarantee that every Australian has a right to watch free sport in this country. Not just today, not just this year, but next year, the year after. I want our kids spending family time. I want them sitting in that public housing that can't afford it. Those mums and dads out there spend time with their kids. I want them spending time with their kids, because it's less likely that they will run into trouble when they turn teenagers. It is less likely they will be running around with knives through our shopping malls. They'll be out there driving cars at 13 and killing people. This is a deterrent, and you taking something else away from them. People have no idea on youth crime and how to fix it in this country, and you should be ashamed of yourselves. You're doing nothing. You're doing nothing. No more freebies for those families out there that are feeling it tough. You've completely lost, you are completely disconnected from them. Australians have always had free access to sports like AFL and NRL, cricket and the Olympics. But global streamers are now buying them up and putting them behind a paywall, like the cricket on Amazon. That's right, your cricket. Hey, you kids, Aussie kids going out there paying for your cricket. Your heroes are behind paywalls because your politicians have allowed that. Your heroes, you have to pay for access. And not to stand in front of them, but just to watch them on the big screen. It is so unfair. My amendment will make it harder for companies to do this. I agree with the government that this bill goes some way to expand the prominence and anti-siphoning framework. But it could so be improved. And the effect it's going to have on that next generation of kids. You should be ashamed of yourselves. You should be totally ashamed of yourselves. And as for my Tasmanian representatives here, both sides, Liberal and Labor, they are doing it tough down there. They are doing it tough. And here you are. Here you are. If anyone's doing it tough in those rural and region areas, it's in Tasmania. And you're going to make those families pay for these services so their kids can watch it. You should be absolutely ashamed of yourselves today. Absolutely ashamed of yourselves, all because you're too much of a coward and don't have the guts to take on the Murdochs. Absolutely shameful.